Three symbols of power: the ring, Valhalla, and the spear. How are they connected? What emotions does Wagner aim to evoke in us through these motifs? Are they musically related? It's going to be fascinating. Today we're cracking the code, because on this channel we're uncovering the secrets of the psychology of music. But first, a brief look at the content. Alberich, a gentleman of rather, questionable personal hygiene and dubious origins from the underworld, had, as we saw in the last video, robbed three lovely young ladies of their gold. An incident that, to put it mildly, causes consternation in respectable circles. He then forged a ring from this precious metal. A precious piece of jewelry, certainly, but one with fateful consequences. This so-called magic ring instantly elevated him to the position of a big boss, as we might say today. It granted him absolute power over his colleagues, which he exploited in a manner we can only describe as shameless. So, you see, a ring like this isn't just a ring, it's a symbol of power. Just like Wotan's spear, or that hopelessly over-indebted Valhalla estate for that matter. Speaking of Valhalla, that's the magnificent castle the gods had built for themselves. A stately edifice, thoroughly impressive, with a view that you'd first have to be able to afford. And this was precisely where the rub lay. The financing was on extremely shaking ground. The builders, two giants named Façade and Fafnir, insisted unyieldingly on the contractually agreed payment. Freya, the lovely goddess of youth. A fee that was completely out of proportion to the extraction work carried out, if you ask me. Wotan, the master of the house, found himself in a veritable quandary. His wife Fricka was, to put it mildly, incensed. In this precarious situation, Loge stepped in. An elegant, fiery gentleman and a proven expert in pyrotechnics and interpersonal entanglements. He put forward the creative suggestion of offering the giants Alberich's gold instead of the lady. A compromise proposal that at least offered some hope, as the giants eventually accepted it. This was followed by a brief foray into the cellar to see Alberich, where, through a ruse, they took both the ring and the entire hoard of gold from him. A course of action that, from a legal standpoint, would certainly have given rise to some debate. In the end, the confusion was complete. Wotan took the gold and the ring from Alberich and then handed these valuables over to the giants as ransom for Freya. Alberich, understandably not amused, placed a curse on Wotan and the ring. The giant Fafnir then slew his brother Façade on the grounds of what was, let's say from his perspective, an insufficiently asymmetrical division of the spoils in his favor. And the gods? Well, they eventually moved into their newly built hut as if nothing had happened. The conclusion of this evening: he who wants power loses love. He who wants love has no gold. And he who wants both gets into trouble with giants and ends up with nothing at all. So it's all exactly like in real life, just with a few more horns on the helmets. Now to the musical part. The Valhalla motif. Ring motif in a tuxedo. As a symbol of his power and out of a desire for prestige, Wotan had the ostentatious castle of Valhalla built. The Valhalla motif follows the same melodic progression as the ring motif, with one small difference. The ring motif contains the devil's interval, the dissonant tritone. In the Valhalla motif, this is replaced by the pure, more elegant fifth. Here is the ring motif. The first and third notes of this motif form the tritone. By widening the interval by a semitone, this becomes a perfect fifth in the Valhalla motif. This metamorphosis is particularly striking in the transition from the first to the second scene of Das Rheingold. At first we hear the ring, rather somber in character, one might even say unsettling. But then the picture clears and the music becomes lighter. Finally, Valhalla shines forth in solemn D-flat major, aided by trombones and the Wagner tubas, which the composer designed specifically for this purpose, and which are, of course, named after him. Could therefore say, the Valhalla motif is the ring motif in an elegant tuxedo. The melody is almost identical, but Wagner has smoothed out the rough edges a little. The ring's nervous greed is transformed into this majestic splendor of a prestigious property. But beware, the architecture of power remains the same. The spear, infected with the poison of the ring. Another instrument of power is the spear, the symbol guaranteeing the world order based on treaties. Wotan cut it from the world ash, which understandably did the tree no good. Whilst the nature motive generally strive upwards, the spear motive shows a clear downward thrust. Logical. From a psychological perspective, it is interesting to note that the spear motive also derives from the ring motive. This is because the first part of the ring motive is also found in the emphasized notes of the spear motive. Here is the ring motive once again. Now the first four notes of the ring motive. And now the spear motive with the particularly emphasized notes from the ring motive. Power, the three sides of a coin. The ring, the spear and Valhalla are thus related, but represent different aspects of the quest for power. A psychologist would attribute the ring motive to the id. Raw greed. It spins restlessly around itself. dark, gnawing. One finds no peace. The power of the ring operates primarily in secret. In contrast, Valhalla stands for the craving for recognition, the desire for influence, medals, titles, and a respectable façade. In psychology, this corresponds to the superego. Finally, the spear is the ego. It strides forward, active, self-assured, Wotan's creative will. The fact that the spear musically keeps returning to the ring proves to us Wotan's laws ultimately serve only to secure his own position. So much for the motives of power. In the next video, we'll explore the question of what happens when these motives of power encounter human emotion. We'll then observe Siegmund and Sieglinde as they attempt to break free from this musical prison. Please feel free to share your views in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen and ciao.